Hello, good morning everyone. It's frickin' 8:36 and I've been on break for about a little over 3 weeks already, and every day, pretty much, I've woken up at like 2 or 1 or 12 or something crazy, and it feels terrible waking up late, but you feel good because you got a lot of rest and being lazy and laid in bed. And soon I'll have to end because I have to go back to school. But right now it's 8:37 and I'm awake and I feel great. So today is going to be one of the best days of your scripting life ever. Because you are going to learn how to use something that will help you in every script you'll ever make from now till the end of forever. And you're gonna ask, oh my god, YoHoJo, what the hell are you teaching us? This sounds crazy. It sounds complex. How could something be so powerful? It's called AutoColorAid version 2 by Nilesy95 and Simillion, written in Delphi. This was released in 2008 and it's been used ever since then by like everyone for everything. Now what this does is exactly what it says it does. It helps you autocolor stuff. Now if you open up our little power chopper we made here, you'll remember that we used find object TPA, and all we really did was pick some color of the tree, added a tolerance of like 10 or 15, and hope that it worked. And that's great and all, but sometimes in your environment you're gonna see a lot of things with similar colors that look the same, and just using a color and tolerance you're gonna be like finding all the random things. Like what if like you're picking swamp toads? Let's see if I can find a picture for you. Swamp toads. Alright, let's see here.
Hello.
Shut up. Looky here. You're here picking these swamp toads. Look at that. Can you guys see those? There's one. There's one. There's one. There's one. But look at the ground. It's also green. You can barely tell. And this guy's on high detail. And low detail, it all just blends in. You can't even tell where they are. And the problem is, if you just use a color and tolerance like this, you're not going to be able to find these. Your procedure will be like hovering all over the ground. It'll be like, duh, duh, looking for the uptext, trying so hard. And you know what's going to happen? You're going to get banned, probably. You're going to just be going like this all day, being stupid. Forget that. So what you're going to do now is use AutoColorAid, which narrows down very specifically exact colors. Now I suggest you read this thread like I always do if you want to know the inner workings and stuff like that. Ooh, spoiler picture, look at this. This guy just autocoloraid these rocks, and as you can see, it debugs all the color found as red. Perfect! Look at this copper ore, those veins are all nice and red. That's exactly what you want. That's beautiful. So you're going to want to go to this thread and download AutoColorAid right here. And you just drag this .exe anywhere. I just kept it on my desktop because I use it a lot, but put it wherever you want. And now let's get back to our woodcutting script. And we're going to autocolor the tree instead of using this arbitrary color intolerance. And let's see if this color intolerance, like I haven't even touched this script ever since the last tutorial, which is a while ago. Let's see if it still even works. Yes, it does, which is great and nice. That's pretty cool. But I'm gonna show you the power of AutoColorAid. So open it up. Oh, hold on. Okay, open it up. And you're gonna see this. I'm not sure if it worked with Smart, and if it does, you're only gonna want to have one Runescape client open, otherwise you're gonna confuse it. So if you're using Smart, only have one Smart window open. Don't have Runescape open in your browser. Don't have multiple Smarts open, anything like that. And you're going to open it up where you want to be and press F2. And what that does is refresh the image. So if I hold down F2, it'll be constantly refreshing. As you can see, it's like a little video I'm moving. So tap F2. First things first, you always want to select color tolerance speed 2. Reason being is the higher up you go, the more accurate it is, and you want to be as accurate as you can. And Similian and Nalcy95 are actually working on making one that supports color tolerance speed 3, which is a new feature in the newest versions of Simba, and that'll be ready in the future, so keep an eye out for that. That'll be even more accurate than this. So first things first, press F2. Then just go over whatever you want to autocolor, click. And to see the result of what that did, you click this button right here, mark best color. No, mark colors. Bam. You've already got it working almost all the way. So what that did is basically, since I only selected one color, it's just finding wherever that color is, which is nice. But look at all these different shades and crafts of colors across this tree, and they're all like what we want to find. So what I'm going to do is just keep clicking really fast and move my way across this tree. And now what I'm going to do, mark color. No, mark best color. Sorry about that. You want to click mark best color. Look at that. These trees are red. Bam! You know they're there. And Simba, forget Scar. Simba will see the trees just like that. So then now what I'm doing is going through, and you want to keep, as you're doing this, keep clicking mark best color after you pick more colors. And what this does, it'll show you anything you've missed. Anything that's not red and that you want to be found, you're going to want to click that. I'm clicking right here. What if the camera's at this angle? I want to get some of those colors too. I want to forget those. So keep moving your camera angle around, running around to different trees. Make sure they're all the same trees, because assume they were rocks or something. You'd want to be using all the same ore. So I'm only using all these normal trees. And it's best to get this right on your first try. You want to try all different angles, moving around. Another thing a lot of people say is good to do is actually switching servers. Or if you don't want to do that, if there's a ladder or stairs or something, if you just go up and down the stairs, the colors will refresh themselves. Because Jagex likes to screw around with the colors a lot, but that's not always necessary. So as you can see, I've colored these trees pretty well, and here's a list of all the colors. Oh, another thing I like to do is go to the color tab and click delete duplicates. So as you can see, I've only actually picked that many colors. And if you really want to look into all this stuff, it gives you RGB, XYZ, and hue, saturation, and luminescence values. And you don't really need to know what those mean until later. I don't even know what these mean. I just use this like a super noob and just get it working. And like I was saying earlier, how you want to keep tapping mark best color, that's in case you screw up and get a little hyper and maybe click some wrong things. Look at this. I just clicked these mushrooms and this rune noob guy in the ground. And let's see what that does to our autocolor. Terrible. You know why? As you can see, I'm going to arrow down, and in this box I'll show the color. All these colors are tree stump colors. They're pretty similar. But once we get down to where I picked the grass, and the rune guy, and the more grass, it's going to try to also include those. And by including such a long range, it's including like everything from the brown to the green to the blue. It's going to get confused. So you want to make sure that to keep clicking mark best color, and if you see something crazy like that, that means you selected a few crazy colors. So I'm going to click them and just press the delete key to get rid of them. There we go. No. There we go. Now we're back to normal. All good. Now, there's a few different ways to use this. You could just click this tab up here, find object function, and click create function, and bam, it'll make you a little find object function like we had. What you can do also is these are like different variables it uses to further exclude other colors and be really specific on the color it's finding. But I don't really like to use those usually. I just like it, here, I'll show you what that does. So, as you can see in the code right here and here, what it's doing is making sure these colors fall within these different RGB and XYZ ranges. And what RGB, XYZ, they're just basically different ways to look at and define color. And I actually never really use those. I bet they're very fast and stuff, but they do use a few milliseconds more of time, which is okay, but I'd rather just have the minimal amount of stuff, which is, what it does is it sets the color tolerance speed to 2, and by default it's 1 in Simba, but we chose 2, which is more accurate, and just changes some modifiers, and that alone really narrows down the color it's going to look for. And then it uses the perfect color it found from these and the lowest amount of tolerance. So this basically will result in Simba seeing this, finding only these. And you could be a big fat noob and just go to this find object function and just let it do all the work. I can literally copy and paste this like into my script, and it would work. Just make sure to change the up text. I'm not really going to explain how to do that. All I really ever do is use the autocolor function. So click this tab. Make sure here, big problem a lot of people have is just forgetting to select the proper place. You make sure you're selecting the right one. AutoColorAid can be used for anything though. The main screen, the inventory, the minimap. I only ever use it for the main screen and minimap. So make sure main screen, because that's where the trees are. Create. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to copy paste the whole thing, just this one function here. From there to there. Control C, and here's our script again, and I'm going to put it right above the chop down boolean. There it is, and it has some debug built into it. We don't really need that, so I'm going to comment those out. You don't have to though. So basically what this function is doing is what AutoColorAid's doing here and finding these trees, and the result is called autocolor. This function itself spits out, remember like I said, functions spit out something, like a boolean is true or false, an integer is a number, etc, etc. So we're going to rename this to tree color, and literally whenever you have called tree color, it's going to spit out the best color of the tree. So you can see down here, we chose this number as our color. I can replace that now with tree color. And basically what that means is, when it's doing find object, it'll run this function really quick and spit out the integer of the best tree color. Tolerance now. Tolerance, you can set it actually, normally I just set it to 0 because it's taken care of in here. But from what I was told recently by Cohen is that AutoColorAid doesn't work exactly the same way Simba searching works, so you might want to have a little bit of tolerance, like 5 or 10. And I was just running the script to chop down a couple trees before, and I realized it was still finding the stumps like it was before. So I'm going to change the object height to a higher height, because the stumps are about this long. I'm going to change this 60 to like maybe even as far as 120 pixels, so it's searching for things longer than the stump. So basically all we did was make our little autocolor function and change the color from the arbitrary color we picked, like this with the color picker. So instead of something like that, we're going to have it autocolor during runtime. And this is going to be super accurate and work for a long time, no matter how much colors change. So let's run it really quick, see how it goes. One second. There we go, yeah, it's working. I don't know why I was waiting so long for. Maybe I made my height a little too big. So let's change that 120 to 80. try again. And there we go. So you can see it works as well as before, but this autocolor is going to make it run for a long time, find bigger chunks of the tree, stuff like that. It's just better. And I know a lot of you have started making your own script. I saw a lot of you making your own power cutters and stuff, and a lot of you implementing these same things into making completely different scripts, and it's really nice to see that. And I've seen so many threads asking like, oh, I need to find this or that, and it's so hard to find. How do I color it properly, or how do I find this? And AutoColorAid is going to be the answer to everything, or most of your problems. Let's see here. Another thing you always want to do is save your autocoloring. So we'll call this normal tree color. Save that shit. You won't regret it, because if the colors update a lot or something changes, etc., etc., you're gonna want to open this up and just add the extra colors, and then it'll probably work again. Good example of this is the lesser demons right here. Used to be a really bright red, nice color, and then they changed to this ugly, dull color, which is not very nice looking. As you can see in this fire rune, that fire is really dull. So I have my old sex script, which kills lesser demons, and it stopped working one day, and I was like, what the hell? So all I had to do was open up my AutoColorAid, and I just added these duller colors to the brighter colors, and it worked again. So I didn't have to start from scratch or anything like that, because I saved my autocolor file. Now I am going to pause for a second, run myself. Actually, we'll try this with goblins. Let's say you want to kill goblins. And they're very green, and so is the ground, and so are the leaves, and that's terrible. So I'm going to try to see if I can autocolor this goblin to only find the goblin. And this is where this little screen down here comes in handy, when there's a lot of different colors around it. You want to start picking colors. And see how there's a lighter green here, darker green here? Normally you want to only pick colors that are very similar to each other. By picking just a light shade and a dark shade, you might screw it up. So what I'm doing right now is carefully just picking all the lighter colors. Make sure your color tolerance speed is 2. And look at that. It only marked the goblin. And as you can see, look at this line right here. It's not colored yet. So I'm going to try to click those. Very hard to get. There, got it. So I'm gonna run around, keep pressing F2 to refresh. Here's a goblin. I'm clicking mark best color, nothing's happening, so I'm gonna try to pick more of these lighter colors. I'm looking in this box right here to make sure the colors are light. It's basically just a zoomed in view. So for the trees it was really easy. They're really big, they're really brown, they're all over the place. But for things like this, it takes a little bit of practice. Trying to figure out what would be the best colors to pick, making sure to only pick the light or only the dark. And as you can see here, I'm going to go ahead and try to pick some of these darker colors too, because on this there isn't very much light. So here we go, picking some dark colors. Wow, and it's still not even finding all these different shades of green on the ground or the tree branches or anything, so I'm going to go ahead and add in dark colors too. And I'm making sure to click mark best color after every few clicks, because in case I accidentally click the ground, or in case the colors on the goblin were really similar to other colors, I'd know right away and I'd be able to just delete those colors. Like, look at this, now some are being found in the tree, which is okay, because remember when we use find object TPA, we can add a width, a height, and a pixel check. So obviously only a few pixels are being found here, so if I make my pixel check large enough, then I'll only be finding this goblin. because there's lots of pixels found on the goblin, but only a few specks on the tree. Once again, this one's not being found. So always remember, like I said, you want to switch servers, try different angles. You want to really make sure you've covered all the bases, found a lot of... Ooh, see, as you can see now, it's kind of starting to find a lot on the tree. I don't really like that, so I'm going to delete the last few colors. But anyways, oh, see, still finding it. So I'm going to keep refreshing and clicking mark best color and deleting the last few colors until a lot. There we go, back to normal. So like I said, going up and down stairs, logging in and out, and switching servers are all things that make the colors change again, which is what you want to do, and to make sure you have a really well-made autocolor. So let's try some more. Yeah, as you can see, it's starting to find a lot of these tree colors. So maybe I don't even want to use that green, because that's easy. Like I said before, in my surroundings, there's a lot of green. This is just a process of going through AutoColorAid, finding and choosing and picking the best one. So instead of that, I'm going to use this red, or what's supposed to be red, goblin armor thing stuff that they wear. Color tolerance 2. Yikes. As you can see, look at these. I have some really weird chunks. That normally happens when you pick a color very dissimilar. So I'm gonna scroll up and down, and as you can see here, this is like a reddish greenish color, while the others are supposedly more red. So I'm gonna delete that one. And look at that, it got rid of that ugly chunk there. So you always want to be making sure you're selecting only the proper colors. And that's not too good of a color either, as you can see, it's finding a lot of the tree. So I'm going to go back to that green. That green was actually not too bad. I'll just do this really quick for you guys and we'll move on to something else. So yeah, there we go. Goblin found, auto-colored nicely, and you can mess around with it, delete points, add more points, choose to use the green, choose to use the red, maybe even that white part of their little helmet or whatever they're wearing. You get the picture. It's basically a lot of trial and error, picking the right ones, and what helps a lot, like I said, is this width, height, and pixel check, and by doing that you can really narrow down what you're finding. So now, like I said, I'm going to pause it real quick, go to a different location, auto-color something else for you real quick, so be right back. Okay, got a little bit of different idea. Some of you have started to want to do walking and things like that in your script, so another thing that's really annoying that Jagex changes a lot is the color of the roads. So let's try to auto-color these roads for you. So then you could use that color to help you a lot in your walking. So as you can see, this road's light, this road's dark, but I'm going to try to see if I can combine them. And if it's, I'm going to see if just even combining them only finds the road and nothing else on the mini-map. And look at that, it does, except for finding these tree branches, which are a green color, which is making me think I picked something weird. Nah, I did not. But road colors change a lot, so I highly suggest changing servers at least like 5 or 6 times, going up and down a ladder, things like that. But look at that. Ooh, look at that, that's bad. Let's delete some. There we go. So as you can see, I'm not going to teach you how to do walking or anything in this tutorial just yet, but I'm just showing you how to use AutoColorAid, trying to find different examples and scenarios. So I just auto-colored the road, and it only took a few seconds. And usually that's a tough thing to do for a lot of people. It auto-colors. It's also coloring that building, but that's pretty tough because it's the same color as the road. Other stuff you can do is auto-color smaller things on the mini-map to help with your walking. Like let's say, let's say you want to click up here, and instead of finding the road, there's one specific thing around there is a ladder. So obviously this whole ladder is just one color right now, so it's going to take a lot of server switching and stuff to get enough colors to make it always work, because the ladder color is going to keep changing. So one thing you could do is, get the auto color of this ladder, and when you want to, and then basically anywhere where that ladder is visible, you can find it. And let's say you want to walk to the bank, you can find this ladder, click like X minus 10, Y minus 60, which is down here, and then find the ladder and just click X minus 10, which would be about here. Basically, you're going to just keep finding that ladder and adding and subtracting coordinates as needed to walk around it. Now find the ladder again, X plus 10, Y plus 10 would be up here, etc, etc. So that's how you could use it for something like walking. I know I already did some monsters, but let's autocolor these guards. You can see after you start doing it a lot and you get more practice, you'll get a lot faster and better at it. Let's go upstairs to see if it worked. There's more guards up there that no one really uses. What was I wrong? Some noobs up here. Full frontal. Oh, here's one. So yes, there you go. As you can see, that thing is auto-colored pretty well. Another thing you could try is auto-coloring maybe the yellow shield. They have a decent amount of yellow on them. Stuff like that. So in fact, I think that's enough. You guys get the hang and gist of it, of how to use it. So remember to always save your files. Color tolerance speed 2. After picking colors, after every few picks, you want to click mark best color to make sure not too many things turn red. And if they do, you'll know to delete your last few points and keep clicking mark best color after each delete to figure out which point threw it off, or which. And if whatever you're auto coloring has a lot of different shades, light, and dark. Usually you want to pick just the light. You can try mixing the light and dark, like I did for the road, and that happened to work well. But for something like the goblin, if you mix light and dark too much, it'll find all the shades of green, like the ground and the leaves, and that'll screw up your AutoColorAid a lot. So, normally, all I do is autocolor my stuff, save it, click autocolor function, make sure it's the right area, and I uncheck all of these boxes, but you can feel free to check them if you want, but I don't really like to. Create function. All you want to do is copy and paste just this function, not the whole script. And you can rename autocolor to whatever you want, like I did here, to chop down. To tree color. And basically whatever function asks you to put a color normally, like down here before this was just a color, like that, you can replace that with whatever you name that autocolor function, and that will count as the color. And this should work really well. And like I said, you can also check out these other tabs. It can make a find object for you, and these other things. But we like using find object TPA because of the width and height checks and the pixel check. And remember to always add a little bit of tolerance right here, maybe 5 to 10. Just to make sure it works properly. And in the future, I'll give you a little glimpse. In the future, so remember, like I said, in AutoColorAid, it spits out basically the unique things it gives you are these color speed 2 modifiers, these two numbers, the color and the tolerance. In the future, what you can do is really get specific. So for like for iron, these were the color speed 2 modifiers. This was the color, this was the tolerance. You could basically, what I did here is use TPAs and ATPAs, and what I did was find these colors, split them into boxes, and then search through each of those boxes only if it found higher than 10 pixels in each of those boxes. And those, what I mean by boxes, are like 25 by 25 boxes, which is about how big a rock is. So instead of just searching the whole screen for every bit of color, it's gonna make pretend little boxes all over the screen, and if in any one of those boxes it finds more than 10 pixels of that color, it'll go and click there. It's really not as complicating as it looks here, and it's a lot more powerful. It's basically what FindObject TPA does, except it's a lot more customizable and accurate. But for now, just using FindObject TPA along with the autocolor can show to be very powerful in your scripts. So I hope you enjoyed. I'll be making a thread on SRL about it, about the video itself, and in there it'll also be just for general AutoColorAid help. So if you need help autocoloring something, just let people know, and everyone else can help. Can try helping each other out by trying to help everyone autocolor things, and that way everyone will be able to find anything they need. So thanks for watching, and I hope this helped you out a lot, and I hope to see a lot of you now using AutoColorAid to narrow down what you're trying to find. You're able to find more complex and weird things a lot easier. Thanks for watching, and see you guys next time. Bye.